Let's get right. Check a phone mic. Let's see, we starting a live video. Let's get into it. Actually, let's do it. Looks like we live. I think we live. Check. Yep, that's live. Okay. Welcome to the 33rd Universe episodes. We about to kick it with my partners and my folks. Close the door. If you hungry for some knowledge, yeah, you got it. Here we go. For my leaders and my queens, we about to build on Astro. I did that one a cappella, family. We ain't tripping. A cappella. I don't got no music today, man. I'm late too, y'all. I'm late. So we're gonna just be late. I'm be later because I'm about to smoke. Get my notes together. I got my notes. Let me see if I got some live viewers. So I'm gonna hold on before I get into my lecture. It's been a blessed day. Blessed with many stressful situations. That's what Saturn is all about. Blessed with many stressful situations. You did. So I wanted to build on Saturn. We're going to talk about some of the originators of this earth. We're going to talk about the aliens of this earth. We're going to talk about Saturn's importance of this whole situation in the universe. We're going to explain what Saturn does in the natal chart on an astrological basis. We'll touch on a little astronomy of Saturn, and it'll be a great lecture. So I don't got a whole lot of slides this time, but I got my notes, so I'm gonna keep my facts on point. Don't worry. It's been a long time since I got to get back on here and do some live lectures, man. I'm excited. It took me a while because the new moon in the August months when the dog star was rising, we had that new moon. Was it August the 8th or 9th? The 8th, and that new moon in Cancer really recalibrated things and started to make me want to pull back and make me go within a little bit more. I got a big family, but I squeeze in my time here and there to do my alone time. So I recalibrated, I readjusted a lot of turmoil within, yourself. Everything starts to build up. You start to get this turmoil within self. But at some point you have to recalibrate. Like you take your car to a shop for a recalibration test. You know what I'm saying? It gets a recalibration, a reset, restart, then it drives all good. Crank that baby up. Vroom. You know what I'm saying? But that's the vibe I was on. You know what I mean? I've been working out, and then to add to all of it, I had that little COVID situation. I didn't have COVID because I went to the doctors to get checked to find out. But I was sick for a week. I felt like I had COVID, or I thought I had been in contact, and my body was fighting it off. So God bless my healthy immune system. We drank chlorophyll ale. I love it. This helps the body cleanse, help the body purify. It penetrates the mental, and it helps you clarity. This thing is amazing. So this is just the bare bones. This is the best I can do right now, but I want to get on a better regimen with all of these situations. Chlorophyll and spirulina and all the best things. the sea moss, all that old good stuff. But you know what I'm saying? That's what had me pull back for my little break. Just recalibrate. Time to recalibrate. You know what I'm saying? It's still calibration always, but I had to recalibrate a little bit. Saturn has been my lecture topic for the last 3 weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. It's been a long time I wanted to talk about Saturn. Shout out to Hood Mystic. Anybody following him? And if you're not, you should follow him. He's an amazing astrologer. But he did a video on Saturn. I didn't watch it because I didn't want to be influenced before I did my video. But I have extensive research from Hood Mystic. I got extensive research from the real Nagas, and he has a channel on YouTube. He talks a lot about Saturn. He has some great videos on Saturn. I've done extensive astrology research, so everything is collective, just understanding. I wanted to point out a lot of these different Saturn situations in the world so that it can become apparent, because the thing about Saturn, in the ancient times, they thought that Saturn was the sun because it shined so bright, and I guess it shines so bright in the daylight as well, but they mistaken it for the sun. It has, Saturn physically is a big gigantic ball of energy, and then it has rings around it that you can't see from our visual eye, or even from a telescope. They also got moons and different satellite entities that follow Saturn around. So Saturn is a big deal, and Saturn was in the ancients mind frame, when they discovered Saturn, it was the furthest from Earth. So it was a mystical situation. It was a situation where they kind of worship the Saturn situation. Saturn, so they figured out that Saturn was the controller of time and the controller of the physical realm. To understand these things, we'll go back to some history. So the Dogon tribe, very, very, very important. The Dogon tribe are some of the original beings that still exist, or that still have history that are attached to the originators of Mali. They come from the area of Mali, and they are a tribe that believed and understood the astronomy of the sky. They mapped out the sky, and when you go to these Dogon people, and there's still people to this day that live as Dogon tribe members, but when you go to these Dogon members, they will tell you that they learned this information from aliens, and they'll describe the aliens as mermaids, as half man, half fish people. These were known as the Nommos. And the Nommos were a distant relative, supposedly, or I leave it at supposedly, that they're one of the planets traveled around and orbited around Saturn. They were from that planet, so they obviously had some different information, and they penetrated themselves to Earth, visited the people in Mali, some of the original people from Earth. They're tapped in with Moorish connection of history. They're tapped in with the Egyptian connection in history. They tapped into the beginnings of Earth, and they mapped out, like I said, this astrological placements and all of these things that we follow and worship today, or do in ritualistic standards today. So we'll get into that as far as the breakdowns where Saturn lies as we continue. But the Nommos were fish people. That's Little Mermaid. Walt Disney and the movies that you see, they have so many different ties to our stories. I can break down these stories and I can start to break them down and you'll be like, oh, that's so and so from Disney. Disney is good at stealing our information, our repertoire, our catalog of mythological situations, and they put them on the TV for us to watch, and they put them in white. What you call it? You call it whitewash. They put them in white faces. They put them in light skin. They have it shown as if this is their story. But lo and behold, do some research. Don't take my word for it. These stories exist well beyond Walt Disney, well beyond the Bible, well beyond the Torah and the all the Quran and all that. All of those things used text from the original people who found out this information from said Nommos. Nommos were the mermaid people. If you watch a movie called Luca, they have a whole breakdown on how the humans discover a whole different entity of beings under the water. They live under the water. They can come onto land and turn into humans, disguise themselves as humans, and live amongst us. Sounds very, very, very capable of being true to me. But this Disney thing, they take these shows and movies. The Little Mermaid, they was mermaid people. The whole mermaid story is all about Nommos. The Nommos were the original aliens that they talk about that visited Earth and brought upon this information and bestowed the ability to break down the astrological process. Scientists were known to have figured this information out in 1862, but the Nommos and the Dogon were delegating this information way back dated in the 3200 BC, I'm sorry. That's before Christ. You know what I'm saying? That's a long time ago. So these Dogon people, they come from Sirius. The Sirius constellation. Did I get a picture for the Sirius constellation? Oh man, here goes my Nommos picture. Look, check out the Nommos. This is on the walls. That's on the walls. That's the Nommos right there. These are what were depicted as beings that came and they showed and bestowed the Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. All these are Roman names, and they had a different name for them. They are translated in English text to Roman and Greek mythology names. So that's why we call it Saturn to this day, because the text translates over to Roman. That's the only thing that we as Americans get. But you can do some studying and you can find some symbolism and some other things that represent Saturn. So these are the original people that showed Saturn, bestowed Saturn to the Dogon, allowed the Dogon to realize their truths up in the sky. So they were the ones that learned that Saturn had multiple rings around it. You can't see it from Earth. Definitely can't see it without a high-powered telescope. So these people were some enlightened beings. Maybe they weren't smart, but they were enlightened. They were very enlightened. So that's Mali over there. That's where the Dogon come from. And some of the original people come from there. That's the Canis Major constellation right there. That's where Dogon people are said to be from. And they were told and taught this, like I said, by the Nommos. The Nommos were their relatives that exist on the external orbit of Saturn. So we'll travel a little further up into the time gate, and we'll get into Egyptians, because as you realize, every culture and every section of these cultured people, they had a representation of Saturn. So if you check the Egyptians out, they had a representation of Saturn, and it was Horus, the sun god. Sun god was they had a whole story about Horus and Set killed his father and all these different things. It sounds just like the story of Mufasa. Let's get into it. Let's just get into it. Okay, so Osiris and Set were brothers. It sounds like Lion King. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you now. Osiris and Set were brothers. Set killed Osiris because he thought he should be the king. So he killed Osiris, put him into death. Isis, which is Osiris's wife, she figured out how to bring Osiris back to life just so that they can conceive a child. So they conceived the child, and Osiris died. They had Horus, baby Heru. Horus was what came from Isis and Osiris. So Horus went back to kill Set. What's that sound like? That sounds like your boy going to go kill Scar on Lion King. Or that sounds like Black Panther. That sounds like Killmonger going to go kill Black Panther for the throne. So all of these placements, all of these stories, they will keep showing you the same story over and over with a different twist, different style to it, a different set of characters. And they'll keep selling it to you. They'll keep showing it to you in whitewash. They keep portraying it to you in a place where it seems like their story, but it's not. These Dogon people knew it. Everybody knew it way back. So the Egyptians, they had Horus. They had a story for it. They had it long time ago. They put it in writing on the walls. Is there. It's way before the Bible. But then you also got the Greeks and the Romans. The Greeks had Saturn, is what we call him right now, and they had a whole story about how they perceive Saturn, and it's a whole story. I don't want to talk about that story because he ate the kids and a bunch of foolishness. And then the Greeks had Kronos. Kronos was a whole situation as far as the same storyline, just a different set of cultures. So every culture deemed Saturn to be very important and very, very key to the existence, because the Romans and the Greeks, they even threw festivals, they threw parties for when Saturn returned to a certain place in the sky. I think it was in December. So the text says that this is where the Christmas ritual begins at. You put decorative things on your walls, on your decorated Christmas tree. People become festive, which they get drunk and they have a good time. They give people gifts. That sounds like Christmas. But they were doing this way back, Greeks and the Romans, celebrating and worshiping the time of Saturn and the return of Saturn. So why is Saturn so important? Let's talk about why Saturn is so important. Because everybody, it seemed like, worshipped Saturn. It seems like everybody was on Saturn. I don't know what I want to talk about first. Let's talk about. All right, let's talk about the astrology. Let's talk about the astrology of Saturn. The placements of Saturn, what Saturn is all about in your chart, what it does in your chart, and then we'll tie it up with some physical viewership of Saturn. I'll show you what Saturn is in real life. All right. So the astrological situation for Saturn is very key in your chart. Very important, because this my friends, is where you come to a physical halt, a physical standstill, and you're forced to reconcile your past karmic debts. Saturn is all about karma and physical debt. So when you get on Earth, Saturn rules the physical plane. Saturn is the physical god, if you want to call it. So your Saturn placement in your chart will expose to you where you'll have hang-ups at. And the hang-ups are for you to slow down. They're for you to pay attention to the details. They're for you to get your discipline together, to get your confidence in order, so that you can maintain and tackle the everyday situations of wherever that is in your chart. So for example, let's talk about me. I got Saturn in relationships. I got it in the 7th house. My Saturn is smack dab on my descendant. So to be very straight and easy, I have very difficult relationships in my life, so that I can focus on being a great person in that relationship, or in relationships in general. Not that relationship, because I've had a lot of shitty, or I've had a lot of very devaluing relationships, and these were all before my Saturn return. So Saturn return, let's do a Saturn return talk real quick, and then we'll get back to the astrology, because this all ties in, all of it ties in, and it's very important. So Saturn returns. Saturn is in a particular place in the sky when you were born. Boom. It takes 30 years for that Saturn to return back to that same location, because remember, these planets orbit in a circle. They orbit. So from the perspective that you have from Earth, wherever Saturn was at in the sky, the Dogon and the Nommos, they have mapped it out, charted it out, and they have passed it down generation to generation, culture to culture. And now we have what you call astrology. So they figured out when Saturn is in this place, when people are born and Saturn is in this place, they act like this. They need to deal with this. They need to do this. And it's a supreme mathematics. It's a supreme science. It is so genius. It's nothing that you can tell me that it doesn't work like that, because I've seen time and time again. I'm a testament to it, because I've learned so many different aspects, and I'm a psychologist. I'm a psychologist by nature. I don't got no PhD. I might get one day, just so for niggas to respect me. But I'm a psychologist by nature. I can break down the psychology, and now me learning the signatures to each astrology just helps me get deeper into that groove. It's beautiful. I love it. So you have Saturn in my 7th house, in my relationship house. Saturn asks you to become disciplined. Saturn asks you to remain confident. Saturn asks you to stay focused on your goals. Stay focused on your things at hand. Let's take these things serious. So before my Saturn return, like I said, it takes 30 years for Saturn to return to that place in the sky that you were born. So amongst those 30 years, Saturn is learning and learning and learning and learning. And boom, once it gets to that reset, it's learned everything in that circle once. That's a major 30 years old, 29 to 31, those are major life transitions. You're having major transitions in that life. And if you're struggling in a certain area, it's worth looking at your Saturn. See where your Saturn is, especially if you're around 31, 30, 29, because it'll show you where you're having a problem at. For instance, I was in a terrible relationship around my Saturn return. I got into a terrible relationship early on before my Saturn return. So my Saturn was not adjusted and it was not calibrated. It was learning. So it was gathering intel. So any relationship I had before 30 was all intel, all learning, all learning. And I had some very bad relationships. I'm not going to say bad. I'm just going to say painful. Very, very harsh realizations in these relationships. And at 30, I got out of that relationship. I was pushed out of that relationship at 31. I had some very, very wild realizations. And I was drugged through some very, very crazy times because I didn't realize these things beforehand. And I did not have the discipline and the confidence to tackle my relationships the way they were supposed to be tackled. So Saturn taught me a lesson, got me out of that relationship by a hard lesson, told me never to go back to that. And then I recalibrated. I learned some things. So check out where Saturn is in your chart. Where is Saturn at? Is it in the 3rd house? Is it in the house of Gemini? Is it a place where you need to work on your talking, your ability to speak with others, to socialize with others, your ability to do things in, I guess, varieties? If it's in the 3rd house, it might be. Is your Saturn in the 6th house? Do you have a problem with purification? Do you have a problem with refining? Are you one of those people that cannot... Man, these bugs are terrible when it gets dark. Are you one of those people that have a problem with procrastination? Maybe, if you got it in the 6th house. Are you a person with a 9th house? Like, wherever it is, you should check it out. See where you need to put some dedication and some discipline to, some confidence into, because it'll help you ascend out of this place. So that's what astrologically Saturn does in our chart. It slows you down to realize whatever in that space, wherever it is pointing to that space Saturn is pointing to, is something that you need to focus on, something that you need to realize. You know what I'm saying? So it's always important to look at your chart weekly, daily. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll show you some things that correlate with your day-to-day physical representations. There's so many different Saturn aspects. People worship Saturn, and we now know that that's not a good thing, or that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to worship anything. You're supposed to understand, and realize what is necessary from whatever it is that you're looking at, that you can take from your life and use in conjunction with ascending. So you have many different aspects of this Saturn character. Like I said, every culture has their attempt to create Saturn. Every culture has their space to throw Saturn in the mix and be able to give their story of Saturn. You know what I'm saying? So you have this scary looking character right here. People think it's the devil. People call it the devil. And they're kind of right. Because if we get into the deep essence of what Saturn is about, what Saturn is, and the understanding of what the devil really is, you'll realize that Saturn and the devil have a very close connection. Very close connection. The devil has a negative portrayal inside of the Bible, and it kind of got taken out of context and taken out of hand. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm gonna get the spray because these bugs are killing. Alright, bet. We sprayed that down. I hope they leave me alone. We're going to finish this Saturn situation up. But what was that? I was talking about Saturn and the devil. The connection of Saturn and the devil. It's important to understand these things because the Bible has taken these things out of context, and maybe some of the pastors have taken it out of context. But the original understanding for the Bible was to get people to stay out of their physical nature. So they created mythologies just like Dogons, just like Nommos, just like the Egyptians, the Romans, the Greeks. Everybody had mythologies to explain a scenario that can be understood by the common folk. The common folks could take that story and apply it to their everyday life. So, what that mean? What do that mean? That mean these stories of these stories of your boy parting the Red Sea and Jesus making wine into water, making wine from water and bread from air. All these different stories are mythologies. They're to help you understand what they're trying to portray. So they either have a negative connotation or a positive connotation. So when they have negative connotations, they're trying to get you to stray away from that situation. So when you do some deep inquisition on what Saturn is about, Saturn is tied to the devil. Saturn is all about physical nature. Saturn is all about disciplining yourself in this physical realm. So, to go back to the astronomy of Saturn, there's satellites and moons that follow around Saturn, like I said. And you have a lot of different satellites and moons that are attached to this. One of them in particular is Prometheus. And the mythology or the story on Prometheus is he's the brother of Saturn. And he stole from Zeus the fire, what is it called? He stole the fire from Zeus and gave it to mankind. So this is pretty much saying that he's the devil. He took from heaven and went to hell, gave the fire to humans. So what is the Bible saying? The Bible says that don't let the devil make you be lustful. Don't let the devil make you kill somebody. Don't let the devil do this, that, and the third. So it's pretty much saying don't let your physical nature become you and engulf yourself into a savage nature. So check this picture out. This picture is very key because this is the Baphomet. He got arms, he got wings, he got horns, he got feet, he got his hands doing one thing, he got symbolism everywhere. So as you break this down, you find out that this is Eliphas Levi's repertoire of the devil, or rendition of the devil, and it all stems from the Saturn situation. So Saturn is all about kind of like half man, half amazing. Superman is representation of Saturn. That big old S, that's not Superman. That big old S is Saturn. He got the red, white, and blue on. That's all Sirius star stuff. And like I said, the Dogons are attached to the Saturn people and the Nommos. All the dots tie in. Do your own research. I'm just giving you a quick synopsis on something that you should go check into, because these things affect your life. They affect your life in a certain way. So you check out this ugly looking creature, people will be like, oh, that's the devil. You don't know what that is, man. You shouldn't be messing with that, man. I've even had a homeboy stop being my homeboy for me posting this picture on my Instagram. I've been in court. I've been in a court case for custody for my children, and my child's mother's family brought up this picture, saying he worships the devil. You know, all these people are scared of this symbol. And why? Because we were taught to be scared of the devil by way of the Bible. And the Bible was mistaught to us. You know what I'm saying? Certain things in the Bible is okay. Certain things in repertoires and understandings are okay, because you have to understand how to depict what they're telling you. They're telling you to not let the devil get you in a savage space. So this is Saturn. He's a savage. He has a human body, so he's a mortal person, fleshly person, but he has a goat head and he has horns. That's the horned goat. That's the Capricorn. That's the horned goat. So I have a very, very close connection with the Capricorn, because my father is a Capricorn. My wife has a Capricorn stellium. Shout out to my baby, Lauren, Low Solo Art. Go check her out, lowsoloart.com. She got some brilliant stuff, digital arts. But I also got 2 Capricorn children. I got Capricorn homeboy. I got a lot of Capricorn people. So I'm able to analyze these Capricorn things and these ways of Capricorn. Today I had a long talk with my 2 kids, Capricorns, both of them Capricorns, and they, you know, they growing up, learning their thing, learning their stuff, and they're, you know, they're flexing their horns, and I'm trying to teach them how to keep the beast within. Allow yourself to resonate with the higher octave of Saturn, and that's that winged aspect of Saturn right there. That's the winged person right there. He can fly. He's not bound to being a human. He's not bound to being a beast. He can fly. So you have 2 different levels of Saturn. If you look at Hollywood and if you look on TV, you'll see a lot of lower level Saturn worship, because they want you to stay in your savage nature of Saturn. But the beautiful thing about Saturn is the octave that's above it. They have the ability to really lock in and become divine, and to show others how to be divine as well. They have that discipline, that father time, that clock that never is wrong, that strikes every hour, is telling you what time it is, making sure that you know what time it is. The clock dinged 4 times. You might not see it, but you heard me. So you have no excuse to be late. You know what I'm saying? That type of vibe. So Saturn is important to understand. Even when you're looking at these stories, even when you're understanding these perspectives of Saturn and the devil. So I was teaching the kids how to be men. I was explaining to them that they need Saturn aspects. They need 2 key Saturn aspects. They need confidence and they need discipline. They need those 2 things to become men. And I found that I was talking to myself. I was like, I'm not just talking to them, I'm talking to myself. So I need discipline and I need confidence. Not arrogance, but I need confidence. So having a conversation with 2 of my Capricorn kids, I learned some things on Saturn myself. So I was like, I'm ready to talk about Saturn. Let's do it. Let's definitely do it. But these things are to be realized as you walk through the world and you understand what Saturn means. Saturn is all things physical. If you know a Capricorn, or if you know anybody with a lot of Capricorn energy in their placement, they love and they enjoy physical things. They even probably get physical things easily. My father, I'm gonna give him an example of my father. My father, he has a lot of physical stuff. He gets a lot of physical things. He doesn't really care about them that much. But he gets a lot of physical things. He has big old house, big old this, and all these knickknacks. And I guess he deserves it. That's cool. But he gets it very easily, it seems like. He obtains it and keeps it easily. So that's what Capricorn people are able to do. They have that Saturn nature. Sometimes they hoarders. Sometimes they hoarders. So Saturn has octaves, 2 different levels. The 2 different levels are important to realize and understand. So Saturn, like I said, this is the Baphomet, and this is an interesting character because he is half man, half amazing. He's the GOAT. That's what they call the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they want you always to call somebody the GOAT on Hollywood. In Hollywood, LeBron's the GOAT. LeBron's a Capricorn as well. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Michael Jordan's a Aquarius, which is also ruled by Saturn. You know what I'm saying? All these different things are Saturn worship, and they're lower level Saturn worship. They're not higher octave Saturn worship. So you get stuck in worshiping the GOAT. That's the savage part of the Saturn. That's the physical greedy part of the Saturn, not the winged human. The winged human is the perspired. That's the enlightened person that can fly light enough off of Earth, above all the physical. So I think Saturn is one of the most important planets in your chart. Every one of them tie in, every one of them is important, but Saturn could be one of the biggest placements that you want to check in and keep up with because it slows you down. It's the place where it's going to slow you down at. Do not try to rush in this area or you're going to crash, because that's not what Saturn does. Saturn is on time every time, and they take their time. So that's a quick breakdown on Saturn, gang. Y'all catch this on the playback. Spread this video to others. Show others this information on Saturn and this information on the Nommos. Y'all check Luca out if y'all want, and you'll see they have these fish people. That's where they get these stories from. Or they got the Little Mermaid and all this other stuff. But all those people realized and learned what Saturn and all these other things were in the sky, and they began to formulate stories around Saturn, which keyed off every other leading culture and every other leading culture and existence after that to go, whoa, what is Saturn? What are they doing? So everybody pretty much stole the script and did the same thing, not really knowing what it was about, just going through the rituals because they knew the people before them did the same things. So Christmas, I don't think it so much has to do with slavery. I think Christmas is a great time to celebrate, but what we do is we take it for granted. We indulge in physical things instead of reserving ourselves of physical things. So I think the opposite of Christmas should be done. When you're on Christmas time, and I think that's what Kwanzaa attempt is, because they give out like little fruits and canned veg foods and stuff, something like that. But you're supposed to minimize physical things, and you're supposed to be spiritually enlightened during that time. That's what Saturn is all about. But they're distracting you with the gifts. I gotta get them a gift. Oh, I gotta get them a gift. Gotta get them. You're indulging in the lower nature of Saturn. That's why they want you to get these gifts. Keep getting these gifts. Go Go get them, man, get your baby this new ring. Get your baby this new Lexus. They want you to go all out, spend all your money. Think about the physical stuff. So that when Saturn comes around to that space, you're not becoming enlightened. You're on the lower frequency of Saturn. So in so many words, I taught this to my kids today, and I was like, wow, that's what I'm going to talk about right there. Boom. So you're not enlightened when you're in a lower level of Saturn. Saturn is not going to let you get in a higher octave until you do what it says. Saturn is that father or that grandfather that you got to listen to. The one that you scared of, he don't even got to raise his voice. Yes, sir. That's Saturn. If you don't obey, he's going to whoop that trick. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to ground yourself in Saturn, not indulge yourself in the physical aspect. Saturn is asking you to slow down, stop thinking about physical things, and enlighten yourself. Ground yourself so that you can enlighten yourself into whatever space of that Saturn resides. Saturn is going to move around all year. So where is Saturn at right now? It's in Aquarius. Saturn is in Aquarius. It's 1 degree of Aquarius. Where is Aquarius at in your chart? Are you having a hard time? Check out where and why with Saturn. If you don't know why or where, you still can't figure it out, contact me, DM me, email me. Check my website out, moredreams.com. Get in contact with us, and we'll let you know how to figure it out. We'll help you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important. Check it out. moredreams.com. We got low solo art. And we have my spiritual eye. Like I said, I'm a psychologist. I want to be able to let people know and learn through my reservoir, because I have the abilities. I just got to stay focused, stay delegating my discipline in the right space, and I'll be able to keep my glass full with my discipline and my confidence. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Bless. This was a short excerpt. We're going to get into some other stuff soon. I want to get into some more lectures and make my weekly lectures. I was slacking. I had to get my reset, my recalibration. So I think I'm back into the swing of it. We're gonna motivate y'all. Y'all stay motivated. It's the beginning of the week, Sunday. It's gonna be a great week. Monday's tomorrow. We're gonna get into some emotional stuff. You got Cancer energy coming. Today is Sunday. You got a pretty good mixture of Leo and Saturn energy today. You have that Saturn-esque energy today. I know Saturn is yesterday, Saturn Day, but you still have it. It's something about Sunday that you have to ground yourself, or it can get too wild. It can get too wild if you don't ground yourself on a Sunday. So Saturn, it's something about Saturn in the air on Sundays. Can't put my foot on it yet. I don't know. But y'all be blessed. Y'all have a great one. I'm going to go inside, check out the kids and the family, see what they need. And I'm going to get ready for the work week. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace, love, and light, family. I'm gone, y'all.